Hello, this is Jimmy Leach, and I am your host today for the Cop Shop on Tennessee Underground YouTube TV channel. You know, we've always heard that dog is our best friend, right? Did you also know that dog could be your best business partner? Let me explain. Back in the mid 1980s, I was a TBI agent in Western Tennessee. We got a call at the TBI office one day from another agent over near Memphis, down in Tipton County, named Tony Bowers, and he said that the state auto theft investigator, George Crabb, who was a great auto theft investigator, had contacted him for some assistance in looking at a salvage yard to identify vehicles there. Salvage yards were sometimes hotbeds for auto theft. And George was such a good investigator and had such a great reputation. When he called, we started hopping. So Jack Blackwell, the TBI boss here in West Tennessee, sent myself and Tommy Lewis, another agent, over to Covington to hook up with Tony and George. We went to this guy's salvage yard, which was down, I guess, being southwest Tipton County, down near Memphis. It's a pretty good sized salvage yard. And to cut to the end, when we finished, we had seized 8 soybean truckloads full of stolen parts. Now, to those of you who are not from the country, that won't mean much to you, but a soybean truck it's not a tractor trailer by any stretch, but it's a pretty good sized truck. 8 soybean truckloads of stolen parts is a lot of stolen parts. So we got there, and the guy was pretty nervous because he knew he was in a fix. And Tommy and I talked to him for a little while and explained the problems that he had and the various consequences that might occur. And he decided that he wanted to cooperate with us because we were nice guys and we were trying to do the right thing, and he wanted to do the right thing too. So we told him, I said, okay, look, if anybody calls you and wants to bring some stolen cars down here, any kind of stolen car parts or any stolen property at all, tell them, come on. He said, you want me to tell them, come on? We said, come on. Yeah, we'll take care of it from there. So he got several calls that day. And he was nervous. Poor guy was nervous as heck. I bet he drank a case and a half of beer that day because he was very nervous. We tried to calm him down and keep him straight and all this. And he was really a pretty good guy. Just took a wrong turn in life there for a minute. At one point, a guy called him who had just gotten out of prison for murder. And the guy brought a stolen car down, he brought some stolen parts in a van. And somewhere or another, I was out there by myself to take him down to arrest him. And he was in the van, and he was unloading the van. And when I saw he got both hands full, that's when I pulled my gun and my badge out. I'm left-handed. I have my badge in my right hand, gun in my left hand. And I told him who I was, showed him my badge, so he knew, I wasn't trying to rob him. He knew it was legitimate. And when he put his hands behind his back, as I'd asked him to do, well, I laid my badge down and put the handcuffs on him, and I escorted him back to the office, and I forgot my badge. This is kind of a funny story, I guess, and it is now. It wasn't then. But the next morning, I had to call my boss. My badge, I don't know where it's gone. And he called Nashville, and they were talking about firing me. Serious. And of course, and as it should have been. But the guy who owned the salvage yard, the car thief, he was a car thief. He brought the badge to me. He found it and brought it to me, which I always appreciate. Like I said, he wasn't a bad guy. He just took a wrong turn in life at some point. But that goes to explain to people who've never been in that situation. Like some of the people who listen to these shows are citizens, and if you've never been there, when something like that is going down, you're much more worried about your personal safety and the safety of the person you're dealing with. You don't want to hurt them if you don't have to, and you certainly don't want them to hurt you. So things can happen. I put that badge. I didn't think about that badge again for a while because I was busy. Anyway, got that taken care of. Then they called down and said, okay, we're bringing a stolen Cadillac down, and we'll be in a van, and a pickup van, to pick up the guys around the Cadillac. So they're bringing that down. So Tommy and I were going to arrest those. Tony got out front, and he was going to secure the front of the lot once they pulled in so they couldn't run out that way. Of course, they could go out the other way. But when they came in, the guy in the Cadillac pulled to the right. Well, Tommy and I decided I would take the stolen car, and he was going to take the van. And the van pulled in, and they were kind of at 90-degree angles one another. I could see the rear windows of the van, And in my mind, I remember thinking till today, I thought, I don't know how many people are in the back of that van. And they can look right at me, they can kill me, and I'll never know what happened. And I'm trying to get this guy out of the Cadillac. He's a big, tall guy. He's like 6'10", man. And skinny guy, but he was a tall guy. I was getting him out of the car, asking him to get out of the car, and he was complying with my request. Saved his life. That's a good lesson I wish people would learn. If you'll do what the police ask you, it will turn out better. One thing I did that day, and I never did this again, I don't think I had my weapon cocked. It was a wheel gun or revolver, 357 Magnum. I had it cocked and aimed at the guy. And the people in the van tried to do some aggressive things, and one of my partners, fired a 12-gauge shotgun. Well, I'm not looking in that direction. All I know is I heard a gun go off, and I've already got it in my mind that they're liable to shoot me out of the back of that van. It's a wonder that my finger was on the trigger and the gun was cocked. It's a wonder I didn't kill that fellow right then. The good Lord was watching after all of us that day. But I didn't. Thank goodness. I never cocked my gun after that, I don't believe. Just I don't think I ever did, because that's cutting it too close. But then, because we took them into custody arrest, they gave us enough information that we could go to Memphis and run a search warrant. So George Crabb got a hold of his auto theft buddies with the Memphis Police Department. It was a fine police department, by the way. And so we go to Memphis. By now, it's like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. We've been out all day with this. And we go, and I want to say it was like a warehouse, a brick building. And they told us it was full of stolen cars. I think it was on South Lauderdale Street in Memphis. I wouldn't swear that was the street, but we were in downtown Memphis, midnight, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. We pull up and get out. Now we've gotten a search warrant. We can legitimately knock that door down and go in anytime we want to. We'd be legal doing that, but that's not what we want to do. You don't want to do that unless you have to. And besides, we could hear a dog. Now, any of you who have been around dogs, and most of you probably have, you can tell the difference in the bark of a small dog and a large dog. This was not a small dog, I can promise. We knew that. We're all looking at one another and saying, how are we going to do this? You know, you don't want to have to hurt that dog. You don't have to kill a dog. But you're not going to let that dog hurt you either, if you can keep from it, right? So we're walking around looking for different ways to get in the building and figuring out what we're going to do. About this time, another Cadillac, it's a white Cadillac, pulls up. I think it was 4 or 5 guys in there eating Kentucky Fried Chicken. I still had a big bucket of chicken. No problem. We told them who we were, told them what we were doing, showed them a search warrant, and they said, okay, fellas, you know, we understand. We're here, no problem. So there was one little guy. His name was Rico. All right, so, and this dog's going nuts inside. He's hearing all this stuff going on. He don't know what's that. He's going crazy inside. So Rico gets out. He goes over and gets in front of the door. Just a regular door, you know. And another guy goes up to the door. That guy unlocks the door, but he doesn't open the door. And Rico, I'm standing kind of close to Rico. And he gets down in a sprinter's stance, literally. Now, like a guy that's going to run a 100-yard dash. Okay, he's ready to go. He gets there, he kind of catches his breath, sort of like I did then. And he said, all right, open the door. The guy said, are you ready? Rico said, open the door. He's emphatic now. He's ready to go. This guy opens the door, and Rico shoots through that door. He goes through there so fast the dog can't come out. And as soon as he goes in, the guy shuts the door again. And man, you have never heard the like of the fight in your life. You can hear things being turned over, knocking, that dog's going crazy. And then all of a sudden, it got quiet. And we're all looking at one another, you know, and think, man, what are we going to see? And then Rico comes to the door and said, okay, y'all can come in now. We walked in, and it was a Doberman Pinscher. And he had gotten that dog corralled up. And I mean, the dog didn't go willingly. Rico got him and locked him up in an office so that we could all come in. Well, as you might suspect, Rico was my buddy from that point on. I stayed with Rico. Besides that, I wasn't smart enough to find those hidden numbers and stuff on the cars and figure them out. I never could do that. George Crabb was magnificent. And I worked later with people at the Highway Patrol Criminal Investigation Division when I was there, and they were fantastic at that. It was just, I wasn't smart enough to do it. That's the bottom line. I couldn't do it. So I just stood over here with Rico, talking to Rico, and we got to be buddies, you know. And he was talking freely to me, and I said, "Now, Rico, what is your function in the business here?" Because I could tell he wasn't moving the cars around. He just was me. He said, "I catch the dog." And I stood there, and I said, "What? I mean, what else do you do? I know you catch the dog. What else you do?" He stood there a second, like I was so dumb. He looked at me and he said, "Mister, if I don't catch the dog, nothing else is going to happen." And I thought, and I chuckled kind of like that. I said, "You're about the most important guy here, aren't you, Rico?" He said, "I am much the most important guy here." Rico was my buddy. And that shows you how a dog can not only be a best friend, but can also be a good business partner. My name is Jimmy Leach. Please remember that the police are human beings also. We have fun times. We have a lot of tough times too. And we're glad you're here with us. Please be with us next time. Please be safe. And when you see an officer out there, take just a second. Tell them that you appreciate them. I guarantee you they will appreciate that. Thank you, folks. Jimmy Leach, until next time.